we're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength.
Did Donald Trump take part in the insurrection at the US Capitol on January the 6th, 2021? That's the million-dollar question at the heart of a case being heard today by the United States Supreme Court. And the answer could have profound implications, not just for Trump himself, but for the future of American democracy.
The state Supreme Court said today that Trump is an insurrectionist.
The case arose in Colorado, where a group of voters successfully argued to the state Supreme Court that Trump's name should be removed from the presidential primary ballot because, they claimed, he was part of the insurrection at the Capitol and therefore should never be allowed to hold public office again.
Trump engaged in insurrection against the Constitution.
They relied upon an arcane addition to the US Constitution known as the 14th Amendment, a part of which states that no person shall hold any office who, having previously taken an oath as an officer of the United States to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. And it's the interpretation of that constitutional language that the US Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, grappled with today when they heard Trump's appeal against the Colorado ruling. I've just left the court, and the thrust of the plaintiff's argument is that for the first time in US history, an insurrection was carried out at the Capitol that was incited by a sitting president. And as such, Donald Trump, under the 14th Amendment, must never be allowed to hold public office again. But Donald Trump's lawyers argued that the insurrection was merely a riot and that the role of the president wasn't even covered under the 14th Amendment. And anyway, a state should not have the power to decide who is and isn't on its ballot. An argument that the majority Conservative and even some Democratic justices appeared to agree with. As did some pro-Trump supporters who'd gathered outside the court.
It's atrocious to think that a state can actually dictate for the rest of the nation.
If they decide that Trump did violate the 14th Amendment and they moved to take him off the ballot, I still think that Trump would have a path towards victory. They can't take him off every state.
The Supreme Court hearing is about whether Trump is ineligible to appear on the Colorado ballot. But what happens here today could have monumental implications for other US states in this year's presidential election. For example, Maine's Secretary of State has also tried to disqualify Trump, but that decision has been put on hold pending the outcome of today's hearing. And in Illinois and Massachusetts, there are ongoing efforts to remove Trump from the ballot, while other states could move to do the same, depending which way the Supreme Court rules.
I listened today and I thought our arguments were very, very strong. Can you take the person that's leading everywhere and say, hey, we're not going to let you run? I think that's pretty tough to do, but I'm leaving it up to the Supreme Court.
A Supreme Court, remember, where Trump appointed 3 of the 5 conservative justices and who, if you can read the tea leaves on a day like today, look likely to rule against Colorado and in his favour.